Well, thanks so much for taking time to speak with me. So let's just start this off nice and simply. First things first, how are you doing at the moment?
I'm doing great. Got off work about an hour ago, and thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
No, it's my absolute pleasure. It's great to see you guys doing so well at the moment. With the first half of 2023 in the rearview mirror, so to speak, do you think it's been a good year so far for Diosa? And what has been the highlights?
Yeah, I would say it's been a pretty good year. Uh, Obviously, the biggest highlight would be we just got back from Europe about a month ago, opening up for Pantera.
Incredible.
Obviously, us being from Texas and stuff, like that's royalty right there, man. And we had people over there telling us it's really coincidence that, or I guess ironic that we're from Texas and we had to travel across the world just to go play with them and stuff. But unbelievable experience. We made a lot of fans over there. Beautiful country. It was in Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah, the festival was in Bucharest too, and it was awesome, man. We got to see Vila Valo too. The guy's been a big influence on us as since we were kids and stuff, man. So it was really a dream come true. So I would say that's been the highlight of the year so far. Hopefully, there's more to come.
It really is incredible. I've seen some of the videos. How did that come about? How did you end up doing that?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So we released an EP about a year and a half ago,
Mm.
and there is a management company, Deadfall Management. They're based out of Italy,
Mm.
and his name is Roberto, a real nice guy.
Cool.
One of their things, one of their selling points was telling us, "Hey, we can get you overseas to play in festivals and stuff." And we're like, "Well, that's all we needed to hear to sign up, man." So uh, it was it was a little tricky, man, a little last minute of what transpired to get to there. But you know what, you know, if you really want it, there's no excuse, and you're gonna find a way to get it done, and we got it done.
Hard work, a lot of hard work though, yeah?
Absolutely, yes, sir. It's the only way to. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess there's some. Well, not even luck, man. I'd say it's an opportunity, and whenever that
Mm.
opportunity strikes, you need to be prepared for it. So that's the way we look at it. So we got prepared to go over there as an independent band.
Yeah.
It was paid for by us strictly, and obviously we got people that support us and believed in us to encourage us to do it. So it was just more of a reason to, what, man, let's go do it. This is what we've been dreaming of. So let's go take the opportunity and run with it.
First time ever in that country.
Yes, sir. First time ever leaving the States. I mean, I've been to Mexico, but I still count that as here in homeland. But
Yeah,
first
yeah.
time leaving across the pond, man. And we stopped in London too as like our layover, and got to experience that a little bit. Awesome,
Oh, did
great
you?
food.
Cool. You didn't get stuck in the
Yeah,
airport. You actually got to get out, yeah?
yeah, a little bit, but mostly we got to go out a little bit, but we're mostly in the airport, and it was pretty cool, man, just to interact with people just from around the different countries and
Yeah.
just get soaking up the culture. It's quite of a culture shock, man, but it's pretty cool.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so glad you got that opportunity. I'm so glad it was so successful as well.
I
So,
appreciate that, man.
nah, no worries. So, new single. It's called Old Serpent and it's out now. Really, really, really strong track. Really, really memorable. When did work roughly start on the song? And what did your early vision look like for it?
Yeah, I would say I think February is when I wrote the main riff. I was just sitting in my room.
Mm.
I got a couple, I bought some new fuzz pedals, and uh,
Cool.
just it was a MXR Octavia, and I just plugged it in, and I kid you not, man, that was the first thing that came out. And then me and my producer Raymond, we worked together, and then next day at work, I was like, "Hey, dude, I got this riff," and I showed him a voice memo on the phone, and he's like, "Great riff, man. Let's do it." So after I showed him the riff, he came up with like a chorus idea,
Mm.
and then Raymond and I write a majority of the music together, and and after that, man, everything just snowballed, and we just started writing music. But that was the first song we actually wrote for the newer music that that we just have lying around right now. But yeah, and then the vision, obviously, for the song was to very anthemic. I mean, obviously, the opening riff is very it's like classically, it's like rock and roll, man. Like
Mm.
Black Sabbath, and just very fuzzy. It just gives that type of vibe, and I just wanted something groovy and want some, something for people to bop their head and just groove with it instead of just trying to, go like 100 miles an hour or something. But I mean, the song came out how I envisioned it, and I'm very proud of it. It's very personal to me. There's a
Yeah.
really good meaning behind it, and it's probably one of the best songs, if not the best song that I've written. The band has written to date.
Yeah. It is. I mean, you've touched upon it there, and listening to an experience, it is a deeply personal song. You're dealing with alcohol abuse and its effects. What made you want to delve into such powerful and such a wide-ranging subject?
I guess as a musician, man,
Mm,
you want to find your voice and you want to find your niche and what you're good at. And one thing that I'm really good at is, I'm very relatable to people whenever I meet them at shows and just out and about and stuff. I'm very good people. I love talking to people. I love interacting with people.
yeah.
And I feel that a lot of people, I've always, my favorite band is Megadeth, and Dave Mustaine talk about how a song he wrote helped save somebody. And I think,
Mm,
as a musician, I don't think there's any other higher compliment to get than saying that a song helps somebody get through a difficult time. And alcohol it's been a problem in my family. It's taken a lot of my family members away from me, and
mm,
I haven't fallen prey to it, and I don't think I will because you know smart men learn from mistakes, but wise men learn from the mistakes of other men. And I've
mm,
seen what it's done to my family, and I was like, I just can't do that. And I feel like I have responsibility for my family and my last name to have like an old warrior spirit to
mm.
make an impact on my family and make my last name mean something, man. And uh, it really is a disease, man, and it's a very unfortunate one. And you know, it was just like a triumphant, defeat for me. Like, hey, I beat this thing and it didn't get me, So
Mm.
it's yeah, that was my whole thing with the song and the lyrical content behind it.
Has it been easy though to open up and talk about such a subject, even if you're doing it in
No,
this
man.
form, in this musical form?
Yeah. No, it's not really. It's well, me being a male, and
Mm.
I'm Mexican, so I was, very raised on the very. You need to be a man, and you need to show, strength and mental toughness for your loved ones and stuff. You got to take on the world, and uh, that's actually been a big benefit to me. But
Mm.
sometimes when there's this moments where you need to be vulnerable with people, and it can get a little tricky sometimes because you kind of stumble on your own words and kind of have like a word salad. But
Yeah.
the easiest thing for me to do it is through my music and stuff and through lyrics. And it was a little weird at first writing about something so personal, but the more and more I would try to find the melody to the lyrics and stuff, and I was just like, man, this just sounds right, and we just went with it, and it came out great. The music video, it's very
Yeah.
telling what it's about and stuff, and I'm just very proud of it, man. And I appreciate taking the time to listen to it and appreciating it as well. I really appreciate that.
No, it's incredible to hear you speak so openly about it. And with that, though, that comes, I mean, with a ton of challenges. For you, what is the most challenging aspect of being so personal, but touching upon what you said as well, while trying to empower a listener through your music?
Yeah, I think the most challenging part of it is coming off as genuine, because
Mm.
I feel personally there's a lot of music out here today, man, that's just not genuine. It's just trying to meet a quota, or it's just
Fair.
okay, that's in. Let's do that because that's what's going to attract people. The hardest thing to do is be yourself, and
Mm.
that's hard because it's not a part of something. So people that are actually going to be into it, they're into it, man, and it takes time for people to get into it as well because it's not the cool hip thing to do at the moment.
Mm.
And obviously too, like since it's very personal to me, like there's going to be criticisms. There's going to be people that are not going to like the song, or they're going to say something negative about it. But that's just what comes. That's with the territory of being an artist, and
Mm.
putting your music out there and putting yourself out there. So it comes with the trade, man. And at first it was a little nerve wracking, but I've heard all the positive response from people that I don't even know, man. It's very humbling, and it's very motivating.
Are you able to, well, not able, do you find yourself trawling the internet, so to speak, to find out people's thoughts and opinions on, particularly on your music, on this particular track?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think any artist that told you the opposite would be lying to you. You know, obviously, you know, as musicians, man, like you write music because obviously it's something that you love to do, and uh, you're making something that you don't hear. You know, and
Yeah.
that's my whole premise of my music is to make music that I don't hear that I want to hear, and
Mm.
obviously too, like you want some type of like confirmation from people to, you know, because you're gonna think your stuff is, you know, the best ever and stuff, of course, you know, like that's just like your ego. But when you
Yeah.
hear positive things, it's actually the opposite, man. You get very humble, you get really shy, and it's very like, you know, yeah, it's just humbling. And it's like it's quite the opposite. You think you'd be like, yeah, you know, that's my music, but quite the opposite, man. And yeah, I look through the YouTube comments and the Instagram stuff, and we're very quick to reach out to people when they comment on us, and you know,
Oh,
we're
cool.
interactive with them. And yeah, we make sure to interact with people that always leave either a positive or negative comment.
Even the negative ones, yeah?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Because look, they took the time out of their day to comment on my band page, so I made an impression somehow. You know, you want them to
Y-
either love you or hate you. When they just forget about you, that's not what you want.
Love it. Well said. We touched upon the challenging aspect, and I want to ask you the opposite side of that. I want to talk about the rewards. Talking about Old Serpent, and in particular, you're opening up and being honest with the listener. What makes that such a
Oh,
rewarding
okay.
experience for you?
I mean, obviously, me being 100% genuine for
Mm,
myself and for my band. You know, it's real, and the fact that people that I don't even know like have gotten a hold of the song, and they let us know how great
mm.
the song is, or hey man, this is an awesome track, dude. Like, you know, I just found it on the playlist, and they're just saying how much they like the song. And it's just like, dude, like, you know, those are the type of things that make it count. When you can just make an impression on somebody for something that came in me, that came from within me in my room with my amp.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I was just sitting in my room, man, and you know, coming up with these little melodies at work, and you know, just going back and forth with Raymond at work, and we're in the studio, and the fact that people from other countries and people I don't even know, or you know, that's the beautiful thing about the internet too, man. You know, it's got its negatives, but you can reach so many people, and they can tell you
Yeah.
something like that, and it makes all the difference in the world. It just makes it worth it. Like I'm doing something right, you know.
Yeah, you've mentioned the genuineness aspect a couple of times now, and it is so important, particularly when you're going to be speaking from the heart like this. Is that a concern of yours that overall, then, that you may not come across genuine, and so it's something that you want to work on?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know there's always going to be naysayers of any
Mm,
person that's doing something of some type of art, or you know, an
yeah,
athlete or something. You know, you're gonna have people that just aren't gonna like you for just they're just not gonna like you.
yeah,
And you're gonna have people that you're not gonna have people that don't really care. Then you're gonna have the people that support you 100%. So, uh, me, I tell myself just don't let it affect you, man. I
yeah.
know that it came from my heart, and it came from a place that, you know, if it touches a couple of people, so be it. But I know I left everything out on the song, and my band, we left everything out on the track, man. That I could really control. You know, I can't really control how people are going to perceive it and stuff, but it's been pretty positive so far. So that's all right with me.
I think you kind of nailed it there. You know, you said it right. Some people are just not going to like you. There's not really much you can do about that. So why worry?
Yeah, absolutely. You're just gonna go crazy, man. Just
Yeah.
only focusing on the negative aspects of something.
Is Old Serpent there? Do you think right now it's a good encapsulation of exactly where they also are in 2023, where you're progressing and where you're heading?
I think so. Uh, I'd like to think that that's kind of like my band summed up in one track. You know, because we've been trying to find our sound, and it's really hard, man. Like you would think that, oh, every band has their sound, but it's really hard.
Of
You
course.
know, I'm pretty sure every band that's gotten where before they've gotten where they want it to be, like you hear their demos and stuff, you're like, dude, you sound nothing like you sounded.
Mm.
So it's trying to find that formula that works for you, and then you kind of have to have a sound, man. I remember hearing a interview with Kerry King saying that, you know, their first couple of albums, like they're like, dude, we can't sound like Judas Priest anymore. Like, we have to find what we're gonna sound like. And I'd be damned if he wasn't being 100% true, man, because you have to have a niche. Like, you have to have a go-to to separate yourself from all the other music that's out here right now, because man, there's just so much because of the internet, and everybody is a musician now, man. And it's tough, man. It's very, very, very saturated, especially here in the States.
Mm. I mean, well, you talk about finding his sound. Look at the band you played with just recently. Those early albums of Pantera compared to what they'd become on Cowboys from Hell onwards. It's quite different.
Yeah, man. I've heard the demos, man. I've heard all those, glam metal stuff, and I was like, dude, this cannot be Pantera, man. And it's Pantera, and it just shows you that, we change as people, man. Like, everybody, you're going through something every time. We're not the same every day. Like, you're always going to change. You're not going to be who you were when you were 19. Like, I'm 29 now. I'm a lot more mature. I'm a lot more wiser. I've gone through more things, and it's toughened me up, and it's made me who I am today. And I just feel that it's happened for a reason. And I think that the best is yet to come for the band and for myself as a songwriter. I truly believe that.
It's well said. That is spectacular. So then, as a group, as a unit, overall, do you think you've got a good handle on the modern expectations of being in a band? What I mean by that is the social media aspect, the constant demand for you to have fresh content out there, and exposing your personal lives a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. It took a while, but you kind of have to kind of get into that realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole social media thing. Like, me, I mean, obviously, me being 29 years old, I'm not the biggest person for social media, but I've gotten an Instagram recently, and I've been a little bit more sociable with that, if you want to say. But
yeah,
I've realized how important it is for the band per se. So on the band page, we're very interactive with people. We try to push content. Obviously, we understand that we want to put out more music. That's the main thing of us being in a band. But man, it's tough to be pumping out music like that, man. You don't want to just pump out anything that doesn't mean anything. Especially for me, as like I would hate to put something out and people were like, man, this is like the worst thing ever. I think that would actually like suck. Because I think people are just such in a rush just to constantly put stuff out, and you lose the quality because you're more focused on the quantity, if that makes sense. And it's tough, man, because you're going against this big machine that people are always putting stuff out. And I'll be lying to you saying if it's not hard, man, but it's really hard. But my band's got my back. I got their back. We got a great support system, and we're not scared, man. And it's either you either keep going or you just quit. It's that simple. A lot of people make life difficult. It's simple, man. Hey, dude, just quit or you keep going, man. Because if you quit, you're always gonna have that, dude, what could have been, And then if you keep going, you work hard, man. And I've seen too many times that people that I look up to, say, there's been times I wanted to quit, but I didn't quit, and I got to where I wanted to get to, and I'm a firm believer in that, man.
You feel like you've got the balance right between your own like mental health and drain of the social media aspect with what the band requires.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was watching an interview. I was watching an interview with Billy Corgan, and I like to watch all my idols and people I look up to, and I nitpick what they say, and I just kind of see how they deal with it. It's a lot of my vocalists they're not here, man. Like, my favorite singer of all time is Lane Staley, and dude, voice of an angel, man, one of a kind. And but one thing Billy Corgan said was, I don't listen to compliments and I don't listen to negative things. I just stay in the middle, because when you start getting too much, you start feeling yourself a little too much. That's when you become a parody of yourself, and you start to get either too big headed or you focus on the negative stuff and it drags you down. It's just basically say you just got to stay even keeled, man, and level headed. And obviously today, in today's day and age with mental health and how bad it's getting, man, like, obviously the song that I wrote is kind of predicated toward that as well. Because let's be honest, alcohol is a suppressant. You're trying to suppress something that's in you that's eating up at you, man. And it's a form of mental health as well. So I like to think that I got a good grasp on it, because let's be honest, a lot of stuff on social media, it's not real, man. It's all
Yeah.
fake. Like I live in reality, and you know, it's not as bad as they say it is, and it's not as glamorous as they say it is. You know, it's just you take it one day at a time.
Yeah, and you can always take excellent words of wisdom from someone like Billy Corgan. I mean, there's a man who knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely, man. You know, it's like I didn't really care about school growing up, man, but
Mhm.
you know, I like worship my favorite bands that my dad showed me as a kid, man. Like reading the liner notes as a kid in class, and you know, listening to interviews and just seeing, you know, my idols, how they went through some stuff and how they kind of operated and stuff, man. And you know but that's how you learn, man. You learn from, you know, people that have been there and done it. And the best way to know where you're going is to learn about your past. And you know,
Mm.
I don't really listen to a lot of modern music. I listen to a lot of stuff from the 80s and the 90s and some of the 70s and 60s music.
Mm.
And you know, I feel a lot of guys that have been there, done that, man. They have so many nuggets of knowledge that you can just take and just you can run with it, man. Like they don't have to tell you face to face, hey, this is what you got to do. Like you
Yeah.
can just learn from them. You know what I mean?
We all still constantly learning. That's the thing. That's the
Yeah,
whole point,
absolutely.
you know.
That's the whole. Yeah, absolutely, man. You're always learning something.
Okay. For those who have never experienced a Diosa show live, sum it up for us. What could we expect? Let's say 2024 comes round and you're out across Europe. You're touching upon the UK, all across Germany, France, and so on. What would we expect to see from you?
You're gonna experience a really tight band that looks like they're having fun on stage. You're gonna see a big old backdrop of our logo and our name. Now we're gonna get one made and stuff. So you're gonna know
Fantastic.
who we are. We're playing for you. Uh, you know, I'm very genuine on stage as well, man. You know, I don't try to. I mean, obviously, like you're in a different headspace when you're on stage and stuff, but people want to relate to somebody on stage. They don't want to feel like I can't relate to this guy. He's a, you know, egotistical prick. You know, like
Mm.
that. Everybody wants to relate to somebody, man. And you know, I just know from experience that I can relate to people. Just pointing to somebody that's jamming out, or you know, I'm doing a solo, or my, you know, our guitar player Lewis is doing a
Yeah.
solo, or you know, so yeah, it just interact with people and show them that I appreciate you being here and checking on my band. Like it means everything, man. It don't matter if there's 5 people or 500 people. You know, like the people that came to see you, just give them a show, man. And you know, we like to put on the show, and uh, you know, we take pride in how we sound, and we rehearse like crazy, dude, and we understand how important that is. And you know, we just try to give it all, man. I leave it all on stage for anybody that's come to see us.
It's going to be a bloody good time. We need to get you over here next year somehow.
Yeah, man. I remember looking the there's a Bullet for Valentine DVD live at Brixton Academy, man. When I was a kid, uh, you know, one of my dreams is to play those venues in London, man. My favorite soccer team's from London. I'm a big Chelsea fan. Yeah, man. Like, you know, I've seen like all my, you know, favorite bands play in different countries, and you know, all this stuff and all these venues, all these iconic places, like, you know, Wembley and stuff. My dad has the Slayer Decade of Aggression album, and you know, some of the songs are live at Wembley Arena and stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, yeah, dude, it's just, you know, I can't wait to go do that again. What I just did, you know, I got a little taste of it, and
Yeah.
it sucks just doing it for that short of amount of time and having to come back to reality, man. And it gave me that taste of, you know, what I've been working for so long, you know.
I love it. I love it. You've had that taste. Now you're just hungry for more.
Absolutely, man.
Well, then,
It's
sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say it's like the greatest thing ever to do, man. Is to play music for people, and
Oh, I'm
then
so good. I'm so glad
interacting
you
with.
feel that
Oh,
way.
dude, yeah, man, it's awesome, man.
I got one more for you then, and really it's the latter half of 2023. What plans do you have in the works for the remainder of the year that you can share with us, if anything?
Yeah, sir. We have a headline show August 13th here in home. It's going to be our first show in Houston in quite some time.
Oh, really?
We expect a pretty good turnout. I've had a lot of people hit me up for tickets and asking what time we go on, and hey, are you going to play this song and stuff? And you know, we're getting our merch made. We're gonna have shirts, our hats. We're getting the whole shebang ready, man. And we should be getting our stage drop, our stage banner pretty soon too. So we're gonna put on a show for the people that are gonna be there. And then obviously there's we're hitting the studio in August to keep finishing the music that we had. There's about 8 songs, so but yeah, if there's gonna be some new music pretty soon, man. A lot of stuff in store, man. A lot of stuff. We're always doing something.
That's all anyone wants to hear. It's all I want to hear is that you are keeping busy. You know, I asked that question, and the dread is always that you're going to turn around and go, nothing really. We'll see what happens. But no, that is fantastic to hear. Justin, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man, and I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?